Hello there. Well, grab a snack and let's read a story and make some art with Mrs. A. I am excited to read a fun story to you titled Lucy's Picture. The author is Nicola Moon and the artist is Alex Alife. This is one of my favorite stories. I also read this story many times to both of my children. It's a story about a young artist named Lucy who decides to make an art project for someone special. She makes a collage with found objects that she finds in the classroom, and she also has fun creating many textures in her art. Do you remember what texture is? Texture is the touch of an object. It could feel smooth or rough or soft or hard. If I was to touch this pipe cleaner, it feels a little prickly when I'm touching it. Or if I was to touch a piece of paper, it feels smooth. Well, this kind of texture is how Lucy made her collage art. And she used paper and found objects around her house. She overlapped them and she made an awesome piece of art for someone special. After I read the story, we are going to draw a picture of someone special and write a short story to get creative. That is in the PowerPoint. But our project is going to make a collage. Mrs. Audino made a collage that I would love to share with you. And I also have a student that I teach art to who made me a collage, and I'd like to share that with you too. All right, so let's read the story. Lucy's Picture. My grandpa's coming to visit today, said Lucy. How nice, said Mrs. Kelly. Now take a seat because we're all going to do some painting. Can I do a picture for Grandpa? Said Lucy. Of course you can, said Mrs. Kelly. Lucy looked at the big sheet of white paper in front of her. Can't you think of what to paint, Lucy? Said Miss Kelly. What would your grandpa like? Something nice, I thought. Look at these lovely colors, Lucy saw. Lucy looked at the red and yellow and the sky paints. They're not right, she said. May I use some glue? May I stick things on my picture? You mean like a collage? Of course, but you'll have to sit at another table. There's not enough room here. Why did she have to sit at another table? Maybe because she could have gotten paint on her picture that she was making, on her collage. Looks like they're getting pretty messy at this table. So it's probably best that Lucy is working at another table. Don't you think? Lucy took her paper to an empty table in the corner. She went and found a bottle of glue, some scissors, and a box of scraps that she saw in the classroom. Lucy loved Mrs. Kelly's box of scraps. So the scraps had pieces of paper, fabric, string, anything that was odd and ends that Mrs. Kelly worked on her art projects, she would just throw into this box, and that's Lucy's favorite box. Would it be yours? She liked putting her hands in the box and going deep down and finding different things, even with her eyes shut, and she would surprise herself and pick something out. There she is. Lucy started her picture. She cut some soft green velvet into curvy mounds for the hills and stuck them on the paper. She made a lake out of some shiny stuff blue paper, and in between the hills, she placed the blue paper. Then she found some flowers on a piece of material. What do you think she did with those? Yes, she made flowers for Grandpa's garden in her picture. Lucy told Mrs. Kelly that her grandpa, loves flowers, and she stuck them in clumps around the edge of the lake. What a nice job Lucy's doing, don't you think? Well, it's time for recess, and Lucy was too busy to play. Instead, she collected twigs, leaves, and 2 small feathers. Wonder what she was going to do with those. Then she filled her empty juice cup and put sand in her cup from the sandbox. At least she was waiting desperately to go inside. And there she is gathering all her things to go inside because she is excited to finish her project. Now Lucy was even more excited with Grandpa's picture. She made him a tree. What do you think she used to make the tree out of? Yes, the twigs that she found outside in the play yard. And she placed some leaves with green paper. Then she used the feathers. What could she have used the feathers for? Can you think of something? Well, if you said a bird, you are right. She took a feather and she placed it on one of the branches of her tree. Then she squeezed a lot of glue and she found some nice ribbon. And she placed the ribbon all over the hills to make it a path. Then, what do you think she did with that sand? Let's look and see what she's doing. She was working really hard. You can see her trees, and here's the flowers around the pond. What do you think she did with that sand? She placed some glue to make a path and sprinkled the sand. And that's what made a path for her grandpa. My grandpa's got a dog too, said Lucy. Its name is Honey. I hope he brings him today. When Mrs. Kelly saw Lucy's picture, she thought she did a great job. What happens next? I can't wait to see Lucy's picture. That's lovely, Lucy, said Mrs. Kelly. When it was story time, she put Lucy's picture safely on the side to dry along with all the other paintings. Lucy couldn't wait to go home. She hadn't seen her grandpa for a long time. It's always nice to give something special to someone, especially if it's art. Well, her mother was waiting as usual outside, but today there was someone special. Grandpa, cried Lucy. She nearly knocked him over. And you can see she has something special in her hand to give to Grandpa. And there's Grandpa. What do you notice about Grandpa? Do you remember what Grandpa's dog's name was? If you said Honey, you were correct. Looks like Grandpa's holding on to Honey. Yes, Grandpa is blind. Now you are thinking, this is why Lucy created a collage with overlapping paper and found objects from the classroom. I made you a picture. Grandpa, look! Lucy grabbed his hand and she guided it all over her picture. Grandpa, these are hills, and this is the road. I placed sand on the road. Can you feel? Grandpa touched the picture very carefully. A tree. Ooh, is that a bird in the tree? That was the feather Lucy put there. And right you are. Honey is going to love this too, Grandpa said. How clever. And a wonderful surprise for me. It's the best picture I've ever seen, Grandpa said. Well, wasn't that a fun story? And here's Lucy walking home with her grandpa and his dog, Honey, and her mother. And she looks very happy, and Grandpa does too. Yes, that's why it's one of my favorite stories. In the back of the book, it shows many different collages that you can make with paper. There's a helicopter, a house, a bird, a car. You can even make a picture of someone special. All you need is paper and anything you find around the house. So Mrs. Audino went around her house and she was looking to see what she found. I found some string. I did have some pipe cleaners laying around, and I found these cute little balls, colored balls. I thought I could use those in my collage to make my picture and actually show texture. So when I feel my picture, I would have some texture. What else did I find? And I have a bunch of different colored paper. So you can create your collage in many different ways. You can use a pair of scissors, or you could rip your paper. Do you know what kind of collage I made? Well, I made a flower. Before I share that with you, I'm going to show you how I made the petals of the flower. I could use a pair of scissors, but instead, I took a sheet of paper, I cut it in a square, and I ripped the paper very slowly. And notice I'm pulling the paper toward me as I'm ripping it. I'm holding it with my other hand, and I'm going turtle slow, turning the paper, but keeping my hand still, but ripping with my other hand. Going slow. And what shape do you think I am trying in my mind to rip? I am ripping a circle. Here I go. Let's see what happens. And I made a circle by just ripping the paper. I didn't need scissors, did I? No, I didn't. I also made a pink one. So, I am going to show you what I made. Did you guess yet? If you guessed a flower, you were right. So the stem of the flower, I needed green paper, but I didn't cut it. I made a stem by ripping the paper. So in my mind, what shape? Remember, everything has a shape. What shape is the stem? I'm thinking rectangle. So I am going to, again, rip my paper, and instead of ripping it perfectly straight down, I am going to curve the paper as I'm ripping it all the ways down to the bottom. Place that over there, and another, rip down on the other side. Taking my time. Here we go. And I have the stem. Now, a flower also needs leaves, right? Here's a little trick. I need 2 leaves. So if I take 2 pieces of green paper and place them together, I'm going to rip both of the pieces of paper together. And I might want to maybe take a pencil and draw the shape of a leaf, just as a guide as I'm ripping my paper, okay? I can rip right on that pencil. Just helps me a little bit. All right, now, because I have 2 sheets of paper, I just made 2 leaves. It's a little trick. All right, let's look at my picture. I have a couple surprises for you. In my picture, I have my petals that I ripped out, and I found this pipe cleaner that I thought was shiny, and I'm like, where can I put that? I put it right in the middle of the seed. But look, it has texture because you can feel it, and it pops up. I kind of like that. And the balls that I found, I glued, and I didn't finish yet. And I have 1 leaf here, and I'm gonna make my other leaf. So instead of gluing the entire leaf on my paper, here's my leaf. I can take a green crayon and I can draw on my leaf to show the veins of the leaf. All right, and I can fold my leaf in half and then just add a little bit of glue, and my leaf can pop out. And I'll show you how I did that. And then it can pop out, and you can see how my leaf pops out. Where's my surprise? Yes, here it is. It's a kite. So that string that I found, I made a kite. And right here you can see some glitter. I added some triangles on the kite, and then I placed some glue inside the triangles, and I sprinkled a little bit of glitter. And above, I am going to draw a kite with a black crayon. And inside my kite, I am going to create a pattern. You can see my kite there is flying way up high. I have white clouds. Oh, look over here. The cloud is off the paper. Is that okay? Yes, it is, because it's my art. And I can color in a pattern. I can make purple circles and a yellow background behind my circles. I can have yellow and orange, red and orange stripes. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm making my kite come alive here. What's this? That is a bird. I found this really nice black shiny ribbon, and I glued it way on top, and it looks like there's a bird flying above my flowers. But wait, the biggest surprise ever is I thought it would be a really cool idea for a ladybug. So I cut a ladybug out of red paper, and I folded the ladybug in half, and I am going to place that ladybug right on my leaf. Right there, and the ladybug needs antennas, so I'm going to take a black crayon and add some antennas. I am done. What do you think? Yes, I need write my name on my art. Mrs. A. Do you like? I still need to finish, but I want you to go and make a collage. And I did promise you that I would share with you a piece of art that one of my art students made that I teach art to. And here's a picture of hers. I think this is really kind of cool. She went outside and gathered a tree. Here you can see where she has her tree. Here's some ribbon for the sky. She has a button for the sun and pipe cleaners for the rays. And she made herself a cat out of paper. And here's some ribbon. She has a bow on the cat and a little black ball. And she didn't do this on paper at all. She just did it on a paper bag. So anything you find around the house, you can make a collage too. I can't wait to share with you my awesome collage that I did when it's all done. I will make sure I take a picture and I will put it into the PowerPoint. Enjoy your day. Until next Snack and Art with Mrs. A.